That's boy me.
Sorry, big thing about work. Okay. Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode.
News or something.
No, no. Oh wow. Okay. Welcome back everybody to a new live episode of the Wisemen Say podcast. Ty Fisher alongside Jerald, Lucas, Derik, Abbott. Jerald, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good.
Yes,
Another
sir.
day
We can
paradise,
hear
you
you.
know.
Felt that, right? Another lovely day in snowy Ohio. Derik?
Snowhio.
Yeah.
Fair.
It's Snowhio after what
Snowhio. I like that.
After what Brutus did at the team up north by doing Script Ohio in the snow as a mascot.
Thought this was a soccer podcast, not a college football podcast.
Hey, it's Snow Ohio.
Derik, how you doing?
You knew we were going to have to sneak that in here. You knew we were going to have to talk about it. I'm doing great. I just actually got back from Florida. So I got back from Florida just in time for literally hours before it started snowing like crazy. So it was just, it couldn't have done it while I was gone. Had to wait till I got back.
Lovely. Well, you just got back from Florida. It's ironic enough that we have Chris from the Battered Herons that just joined us for a few minutes. Chris, buddy, long time no see. How you doing?
I'm good. I mean, I'm just sitting here in 82-degree weather with palm trees around me, and you guys got what? Snow all over the place?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I just had one of the drivers that works at my company literally run into a car at 20 miles per hour just because, Yeah, that happens.
Wait. Are we sure it wasn't a deer this time? Again?
No deer. Not this time. No.
Well, thanks for joining, man. I know you said you were going to be on something else, and I said we get you on pretty much soon enough. Absolutely. But I didn't think it'd be this soon.
Yeah.
I thought he was trying to stay away because in my comments I said about Lucas comparing Lucas to Messi.
That's more so Danny. That's more so Danny, I think.
Yeah. You're gonna get more flack from Danny than me on that.
But really quick, Chris, while we have you, might as well just jump right into it, right? MLS Cup final down in Fort Lauderdale. You guys are hosting the Vancouver Whitecaps. Honestly, just how do you feel?
I mean, I think it's fantastic, dude. It's so amazing. And it's funny that you say Fort Lauderdale, and people are saying Fort Lauderdale like if it's a shot. I mean, I'm dying for this thing to be in Miami proper. It takes me an hour to get down there anyway. But a lot of the old timers, the day one guys, they love that it is in Fort Lauderdale. You know what it is? That these guys that live in Broward are going to be able to experience, hopefully, an MLS Cup 1 in the last game at Dry Pink, Chase Stadium, Broward County, whatever you want to call it. I think that's like beautiful for the OG fans that live close to there.
I think
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
now...
I mean, I hate that place with the passion of 45 souls. You could pay. I mean, listen, that place is terrible. The only reason I go there is for games. Other than that, you would never catch me out there. You'd probably never catch me even in Miami downtown. Luckily, the new park's not going to be close to downtown. But other than that, like the people that live there and enjoy soccer there, they are a pig and poop.
That is a wonderful analogy. A pig and poop. That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The path that Miami took to get here, it most would say would be an easy one, right? But I feel like you guys earned this path to MLS Cup, right? Just walk us down that.
Well, I mean, if you think about right, the start of the playoffs, and when you're looking at the start of the playoffs, you're playing up basically. Look, the entire playoff run itself was no joke, right? I mean, you're playing against teams that they have a reason to be there. As far as the first game is concerned, we played Nashville after already playing Nashville, and we have to play them 2 to 3 times. I mean, blow my brains out. Luckily, we ended up coming out of there alive, but it was like Nashville's a good team. Nashville's a good squad. No matter what you can say about them, like they have a good attack. Their defense is pretty solid. So they're not a pushover. And then on top of that, Cincinnati, I mean, we stomped all over Cincinnati. That is a team that I felt like were a little bit more fraudulent. And I'm not just saying that because I'm on a Columbus, podcast, but I do feel like Cincinnati was a little fraudulent. And but aside from that, like NYCFC, they lost their best player and they were scrappy about it, but like they had no chance. That game was just a gimme.
I didn't have this on my bingo card, Vancouver versus Inter Miami this year.
I think Vancouver is probably the best team out on the West. I mean, San Diego or Vancouver to me were the 2 best teams in the West. I thought San Diego was going to go all the way. But if there was any team that I think is better than them, it's Vancouver. You know how crazy it is? Vancouver was better without this German guy Mueller. He gets here, and all of a sudden, he makes them better. But then there's some games where you got fans saying like, well, we kind of don't need this guy. So now we have WWE writing Mueller versus Messi, history in the internationals. Like, this is amazing.
So now, Chris, I think the question begs now, if you take away Messi, right, but you still have Busquets, Alba, DePaul, Salvetti, Allende, do you think Miami would be in that same boat? They would be great, and then Messi would make them better like Mueller did Vancouver before he even got there?
I don't know, dude. Like, how can you live without the greatest guy to kick a soccer ball around? Like, he is who he is. Like, at the end of the day, no matter what team I think he would have gone on in the MLS, like, teams, unfortunately, are just going to be way too dependent on him. And do I think that we'd be in the same place? I mean, I don't know. Maybe. Like, all the Messi fans love coming on and saying that we were like in 45th place before Messi came on here, and don't understand that we didn't sign guys like Pozuelo, who is a solid good 10, because we were saving money for like big names like that guy Messi. So like, if we would have had Pozuelo, could we have been in the same place? Like, maybe, right? Like, who knows? Like, Jordi Alba is a badass. I'm dying that he just says, psych, I'm not going to retire and I'm going to stay here.
That's fair.
So, I mean, in my opinion, do I think that we'd be in the same place? I'd like to think so, with the other players, hoping that Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba and Suarez just wake up and they're like, sure, Messi's not there, but I'll go over there. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I'll take that. A Messi-less team. Maybe we get some rando bando 10 who's like pretty decent. I'll take that.
Random Bando 10.
And piggybacking off of that too, for anybody watching MLS Cup who may not be as familiar with Miami outside of Messi, I'm sure there's still people out there who obviously know of Messi, but maybe not as much about Miami in particular. Outside of him, who would you say is an X factor or some key players to look out for that can really change the game for them? Outside of obviously Messi, who's the greatest of all time, really.
So I'll give you two guys. I'm going to give you a little bit of a big name, and then I'll give you a sleeper. So the big name I'll give you is Sergio Busquets. And if you look at the first goal that we scored against NYCFC, he received the ball from Rocco Blanco, okay, and ended up skying a pass over all the players. Beautiful pass right into the breadbasket of Tadeo Allende, where he slams it in the back of the net, because this guy Tadeo Allende now feels like being a badass and scoring goals. He is key numero uno on this team. Now, the other key, which I don't think he's going to start, but I think he's probably the best player for value that we have. My favorite player is Yannick Bright. He's also a CDM. He makes basically like a cheeseburger and fries for his salary. He just got an increase on his salary, so now he gets to move out of his, one bedroom loft in right by the airport. Now he can get an actual place. He is amazing. Probably the best player that we've had for the value. He plays great defensively. He's been getting better offensively. He was actually the reason that we didn't win last year against Atlanta, because he was out a game and a half, which were the game and a half that we essentially lost against Atlanta last year. So those are my two keys of the game.
Chris, both coaches coming into this first, MLS Cup, for both teams. What is, when you have to compare the coaches, what does Mascherano bring that Sorensen might not bring to the table?
Some balls. Because he had the balls to sit Luis Suarez, who he basically, the fan base has hated Luis Suarez recently because he's not scoring goals like he did last year, but he's had like 20 goal contributions in the regular season. So he's helped creating a lot of chances for us. But the fact of the matter is that after he got sat because of the red card, the next game, Mascherano could have started him, but he didn't. He pulled the trigger on this guy named Matteo Silvetti, and Matteo Silvetti ends up scoring goals the very next game. And that takes balls to sit a name like that. And then to top it off, you sit him again the next week. Like that's big moves. So I think that's gonna be the key here, because he's not gonna play Luis Suarez this deep in the season, MLS Cup. He's not gonna try to throw different ingredients in while nothing's broken, so don't fix it.
Mm-hmm. What's the weakness Miami has that Vancouver could kind of exploit? I feel like there isn't one, but you watch more Miami than I do.
It's weird because with Luis Suarez, our defense has gotten better because now you got younger guys on the pitch. So now defense actually starts from the top. Like Messi actually is like, wow, I got a bunch of young guys around me. Just me half running looks like I'm running. So that is
if it's considered running at all.
The midfield, yeah, I guess whatever. I mean, he looks like he's on those like skates with the wheel on the bottom. Like maybe he's got one of those. Like, and you guys don't even know that. Yeah, he's probably got Heelys. You don't know that. I mean, look at him. And in the midfield, you have Busquets, who is like, the brains of everything. And then Rodrigo de Paul is actually playing, and he's actually like playing like how we expected him to play. Because if you would have just put name player on his face and just leave him faceless and not even know he's from Argentina, you wouldn't even think that he was like such a great player in the beginning when he was playing with us. But now he actually feels like playing soccer. In terms of our weakness, I think at this moment it would have to be the right back. As Tommy one time say, Chris send link. Because I was texting him like crazy to send the link before jumping on. I'd say the right back position, because we got Marcelo Weigand, who was basically our backup behind Ian Frey. Ian Frey, who's a young right back, he had a bad injury last season. He represents Jamaica. He's been playing fantastic, both offensively and defensively, but he got injured representing Jamaica. So this guy, Marcelo Weigand, had to play in his spot. He's kind of suspect, in my opinion. So that's probably where Ali Ahmed is literally going to terrorize us, because Ali Ahmed is going to destroy us on that side.
I would assume Scarves and Spikes needs you over there now.
No, I think they finished up, but we're gonna be we'll be jumping on later on with them at some point, and then we got our show later on. Like, it's just a disaster. It's a disaster today.
I would also like to apologize. I did not get the invite out earlier this week. I've been up to my knees with work, so I apologize on my
all
end.
Good, man.
Just
it's
really
okay, dude. I get it.
Really quick, just one more thing, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the unexpected hero for Miami if Miami were to win MLS Cup 2025? And it can't be Messi.
I'm okay. The unexpected hero, and you're talking about like, is this guy like making plays that are like, oh, he did the things that are like not on the stat sheet? Oh, super hard.
This is going to be somebody who either A, starts and has an impact, or B, comes off the bench and has an impact offensively, defensively, goal contributions, runs, whatever.
So here's the thing. This player that I'm about to mention in the beginning was on fire for the first couple games, had a ton of duds in the middle of the season. And then just recently, a little bit before the playoffs, started to really do. And he is tied for the most goals in playoffs right now. And his name is Tadeo Allende. And he's on fire at this moment. I wanted him out of here, like in a hell in a handbasket, out of here. Put that guy in a garbage bin and throw him somewhere in another country. I don't care. But he's been playing fantastic. And he had a hattie last week. So if there's anybody who's going to show up, it's going to be him. And I feel like this is going to be so interesting. I feel like he's probably going to play like crap all game. And then it's going to be tied. And he's going to score like the game-winning goal, like in extra time. And he's just going to sit there on the floor crying and all kinds of stuff.
I did watch that game. Who did you guys play for the?
That is especially for anybody, of couch, change they found in their couch on any like bets on the game. That's a good good analysis to know. So I guess overall, what would you say would be your prediction for how this is go?
Well, and I'll give you my prediction, but before I do, one of the listeners that listened to our show, his name is Mike V. He went on chat GPT and asked a couple questions. All of a sudden, chat GPT released the results to him. Okay, put down when all these players are going to score a goal. So according to ChatGPT, it's in the books. We're winning 3-1. My prediction is we're going to be winning 4-3, and it's going to be like a last-minute goal that's going to win us the game. I think it's going to be a goal fest.
That would be very fun. I would appreciate that for sure. 4-3
it's
last
gonna
minute
be
goal would be
amazing.
a very good time.
I think oh no. Dang. I thought I found it right here just now. The chat GPT
The
thing you were
tweet.
talking about. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I think I found it on your page.
Yeah, Chris, I remember seeing your tweets. You and Danny's last year. You wanted Allende out of there.
Oh yeah, Allende is super inconsistent. Like we wanted, I mean, I wanted Campana. Danny hates Campana, but Allende he's been super inconsistent this year. But if you ask anybody in our chat when we go live at 9:00, they're gonna say that we breathe his air. We breathe Messi's air and his air. Yeah.
I can't pull it up because it's on my Safari window, but I did remember seeing that. I was like, man, I can just imagine that happening. Honestly, I can just see that happening. If it happens, I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is absolutely mental.
I mean, I see it 3-2.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Chris, thanks for popping on for a hot minute, man. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Really quick, where can the lovely viewers find you, your work, your podcast, all that fun stuff?
Well, they can find me on Battered Herons podcast. We also do a Spanish one. If you guys talk a little Espanol, it's Las Garzas. We also do an MLS show, Battered MLS. And you can just check me out on K Battered Herons, same thing, just with a K in the beginning. But I appreciate you guys for having me on.
Yeah, man. Of course, you're always welcome to pop back on. I promise, if Miami wins, I will send out an invite to the next show way earlier than the day of.
No, and no doubt. Look, I had the opportunity. I'll do it. You guys are good friends, and if I could, I'll hop on whenever you guys need me. I'm gonna say something, and then I'm gonna run away. But I put a post up because Wilfred Nancy.
I saw
there was
that.
a post made by Wilfred Nancy. I just want to leave on this note. Wilfred Nancy is the Bill Belichick of America of soccer, and that's what I'm going to say. And then I'm just going to leave right now, guys. Good night.
What a way to leave.
So I just saw it. I was looking at it, and here we go. He put overrated #Crew96. Wilfred without Cucho equals Belichick without Brady.
Oh my.
Yeah. I was like, I just saw that. I knew exactly what he was gonna say.
We don't even know what we could have had with Lucas and him.
Oh, dude, man.
I know. Let's just stop bringing it up. Really, I should stop bringing it up.
I honestly think that with those three, we could have made it work with Lucas being in that type of system that Nazi played.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
We could have definitely made it work somehow, some way. It's a big ask coming from a number 10 DP, but I mean, I think they could have made it work.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, back to MLS Cup final. Jerald, what's your X factor for Vancouver? I'm pretty sure you watched a lot more Vancouver than anything. Is he frozen? I think Gerald's frozen.
I'll give you who I think the X factor is.
Hey.
Are you there?
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. Go ahead, Derik.
I was going to say, I think it's going to be, and it depends on if because he was in really good form in the beginning of the year. Injuries obviously played a factor, but I think someone who has experience on their side of being in an MLS Cup is Sebastian Berhalter, which I know is an easy pick just because we're familiar with him from his Crew days. But I mean, he was on fire at the beginning of the year. Injuries, he was getting called up a little bit, which, you know, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's from an MLS side because, I mean, you see it work really well sometimes with like Max Arson. Went up there, played pretty well for Team USA, and then came back and continued to play pretty well for us. But then you see Seb go up there and goes back, gets hurt, wasn't, necessarily great. But I think that's somebody who, in these type of situations, you want to have somebody who can bring you experience in being in that cup. Now, obviously, you have Mueller on the team who has, just an immense amount of experience playing in massive games. But I think, playing in the MLS is naturally a little bit different. So I think someone like him, like, he's not going to be able to, like, I don't see him outperforming Messi or something like that. But I think for Vancouver, you can lean on someone like that the week leading up to it, going into the game. And I think could make a big impact for them in a notable way. And maybe some people wouldn't be suspecting, just because I don't feel like I've heard a lot of people talk about him the second half of the season as much. I mean, they've been fairly consistent in terms of like their run of play in general when it comes to performance week to week. But he's someone that I think, could really perform when the lights are shining brightest, and really make a name for himself in the MLS and really catapult himself into a higher echelon of player and perhaps start to get some of those looks from overseas, which I think at some point this season there was maybe a few rumors about that, but I don't think anything ever really materialized because he didn't have consistent play with the national team. But this would be a good time for him to really put on a show, or at least, make an impact in a way where people have eyeballs on him and that name starts to resonate a little bit more with the general fan and outside of the MLS ecosphere.
On that same note, I mean, Vancouver kind of had a Cinderella run, right? Getting through, who was it? Who did they get through? They went through.
They didn't go through LAFC, did they?
They did. They did. They were up 2-0, and then Heung-Min Son scored a brace in the second half to tie it, and then they won in a penalty kick shootout with 9 men. 9 men.
That's right.
Yeah. Yes. They went there. I think it was It was FC Dallas, then LAFC, then San Diego.
That's right.
Those latter two teams really aren't ones to be messed with when it comes to playoffs, especially with San Diego and the amazing season that they had.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too, because I mean, obviously LAFC and everything that comes along with them, you cannot take them lightly in any stretch of the imagination. And I think in general, when you see after the first stage or whatever we're calling it, the first round where you're doing the best of 3, once you see how it kind of shakes out and what it's going to look like, that's when I think most people probably would have written off Vancouver, honestly, even if they've played really well throughout the season. Once you start to see that, San Diego, heck of a run. I mean, they gave us all kinds of fits when we were out there at the beginning of the season, and I don't think a lot of us expected that. And I forget who it was, unfortunately, but we had somebody on from their podcast at the beginning of the year, and I remember
Nathan.
Nathan saying that, look, this season could go really well for like the way this team's constructed and the momentum behind them getting into the league. This could go really well, or it's going to be a train wreck. There's not going to be an in between with this, and it turned out to go really well for them, which is great. I mean, I think if you're a growing league, that's ideally what you want. But I also think when you have teams like Vancouver that can make it to a final, I think that really shows that, there aren't, I think anybody who's followed MLS long enough, there's not too many teams that just remain at the bottom for a long period of time. You have a bunch that remain near the top a lot and kind of shuffle around, but there's always a chance that you can make it all the way to a final. I think we see that right here, that that is certainly the case. So I'm excited for them, honestly, because it's not a team us over here in the Midwest ever think about when we're thinking about teams on the West Coast.
Derik, your computer issue made its way over to Jerald. So
mine was struggling for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot better now, but it didn't start off great. But it's
all
all
right.
everything is working very fine now. So I apologize, Jerald, for sending that bad juju your way.
The biggest upset for Vancouver this year in the postseason, would you say it was LAFC or San Diego?
Oh, I'd say LAFC. I mean, I think due to all of the hype around their new addition, the cachet that they bring to the table as a team. I mean, it's hard to think that, that anybody outside of Vancouver going into that game probably just assumed LAFC would win. And for them to get over that, I think that really helped propel them from probably a confidence level too. And I don't know the inner workings of the fandom of theirs to assume that they had any kind of lack of confidence, let's say. But
yeah,
I think them being able to beat them beat them in general, really helped with the San Diego side of things. And honestly, I'm not overly familiar with the roster of San Diego, but I think, you have the addition of Mueller and others. And I think that just naturally is going to help when you're in a playoff settings and things like that. Like I mentioned with Berhalter, I mean, you have people now who have played in these really big games, both, overseas, on national teams, that type of thing. And I just don't, overall, I would have predicted the same thing of Vancouver beating San Diego at that point. But hats off to San Diego, and hopefully they can kind of continue that momentum too, because I think when you have a Vancouver and a San Diego over on the West Coast, and it's not always the typical LAFC, Portland, Seattle, I think that makes it a little more exciting for people, especially here in the Eastern Conference, to follow some of what's going on over there. Because I've certainly fallen to the whole of, not paying a lot of attention of what's going on over on that side of the league, because inevitably you kind of just see the same teams.
yeah.
And maybe they think that about the Eastern Conference, but I feel like there's a lot more parity on our side where any given time, you're getting a different team in the finals. It's not always the same ones, at least now. I know years ago that might have been a little bit different, but now it seems like everyone's on a little bit more of a playing field outside of maybe like a Miami and, maybe a few others. And even LAFC, quite frankly. I mean, they're anytime a big name's coming, you're looking at Miami or probably LAFC in terms of like who's most likely to sign them. Other names get floated around, but really those are the two that you assume are going to get the big names.
Really quick, before we dive deeper into the MLS Cup preview, quick shout out. Our Wisemen Say merch store is currently live. Hoodies, tees, mugs, hats, everything you need to rep the pod and rep Columbus, as I believe Derik is showing his hat right now. Yes, he is.
Sir.
Everything you need to rep the pod and rep Columbus. Grab the newest drops by scanning the QR code at the top right hand of your screen and support independent crew content. You guys can also check out the merch store by clicking the pinned tweet in our bio on Twitter or X, whatever it is. And yeah, all of that gets put back into the show for equipment, subscriptions, travel to away matches, etc. All that fun stuff. Derik, keys to the game. What would be your keys to the game? We'll say one for Miami, one for Vancouver.
I think Miami is pretty easy, and I think it's just do what you've been doing. I mean, in their case, and it's going to sound like maybe a slight cop out, but I mean, realistically, I think everybody would agree with it, is that you need to get Messi in position to be able to do what he does. I mean, it's very rare that you see him get like open chances and stuff and not be able to capitalize on them. I think it may have been the last game or two games before I saw he kind of missed like an open netter. But that's like a very I don't know what he was doing there. Just score the ball. You don't have to like perform magic tricks in front of the net. Just score the ball. But that's someone that, 99% of the time is going to hit those shots. So, I mean, if you're Miami, just do what you've been doing. You don't need to get tricky. I think Chris said that too. Like, don't try to add different spices to the dish, or however he put it. Like, I think he was spot on with that. Like, don't do anything different than what you've been doing now, because you don't need to.
Yeah.
And I don't know too many teams that'd be able to do that. I mean, even when we were in MLS Cup a few years ago, we were putting some guys out there that we, and that's part of the Nazi system is finding the right matchups and sticking people in there. I don't think Miami needs to do that. You just need to keep rolling with who you have, make them stop you. On the flip side, Vancouver, I think you have to be able to weather the inevitable storm that's going to be of, Messi getting chances. Like, you have to be really stout on defense, and make sure that you are doing a good job of minimalizing the opportunities that he's inevitably going to get. Not to say other members of Miami obviously aren't scoring threats, but I think if you can find a way to minimize his chance at scorings in one way or another, your chances of winning certainly go up tenfold. And I think you need to find creative ways to get your key guys involved. Like, you have someone like a Mueller, you have a Berhalter, you have some of these guys that can get in there and make a big difference. And I think you really need to capitalize on that. And I think Chris mentioned that Busquets would be a big, like, key factor or X factor to the game. And I'm not, he's going to know immensely more than I will on their team and those types of things. But I think that's someone that is retiring he's either retiring or not signing. I don't remember exactly if he's actually retiring or not. He's retiring. Yeah. Okay. And we've mentioned in the past when we've watched some games and leading up to our games with them that occasionally he could be a step behind out there, because he is a little bit further or a little bit more mileage on the wheels, that type of thing. And I think that could be a key area on their defense that you could target. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to work, but I think if you pinpoint an area and just keep going at it like that, you probably stand a little bit better of a chance than, I think you have a little more flexibility to mix things up a little bit, attack certain areas and that type of thing. Because realistically, you've got 9 guys on defense. Messi's probably not sticking his nose in there unless he could. He could be really motivated and say, this is why I came over here. It's time to win this thing. Mm-hmm. But traditionally, you're not expecting him to do a lot on the defensive front. So if you can get ahead of them and really start to pepper their defense and get to that back line and beyond, I think you have a lot better of a chance. So I think for both sides, it really probably comes down to attacking, but with Vancouver, be defensive minded, especially when it comes to Messi. If the other guys come in and beat you, then that's unfortunate for them, obviously, but I feel like you've done the best you can at that point because you've neutralized the biggest scoring threat in the entire league. Maybe they need, and maybe, this is going to sound a little homer, but like watching some of what we did, he did not run all over us and score a bunch of goals when we played them. So if you can find a way, and watching some other teams' tapes that have been able to maybe neutralize him a little bit further, I think that could go a long way potentially.
I don't even think he scored against Columbus this year.
As I was saying that, I was thinking in my head, trying to think of if he did, and I can't.
I don't think he did.
Because it would have been very interesting to see. Well, I can't even say this year because we were up in Cleveland, and that was, I wouldn't say 50-50, but there were a lot of Messi fans there. And I don't remember there ever being like, they scored, but not, he didn't score. I don't remember about the year before if he did or didn't, but
I know for a fact he did in 23 because it was the game Busquets winning high on Farsi at home, and everybody and a foul got called on Farsi. He got to that game because
Okay.
Camacho was wanting an offside call, and then he had that free kick right before halftime.
Okay. And he was hurt. He didn't play in 24, right?
I
feel like he
know,
didn't play.
and yeah, it was 24. Yeah,
because I remember a lot of people were like hyped up about the resale value of tickets and stuff, and I remember that like dramatically dropped.
Yeah,
because because he didn't end up playing.
I
He was hurt
know,
for a lot of the season that year.
I know he didn't play. I'm pretty sure he didn't play Columbus in Miami, but he definitely played Columbus here.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, because it was that's what I was that's the game where what's his face? Farsi got injured on a hard
and
tackle.
We never saw him again. Oh no, wait,
yeah, 24 was Busquets went in high on Farsi's inner thigh, or Busquets went in high on Farsi's inner thigh. Drew Fisher called a foul on Farsi, and everybody wanted a red card on Busquets for the high leg. Messi got a free kick before halftime, and he also got that one goal through Camacho because Camacho stopped play, wanting an offside call. But looking at the first matchup in 24, this was in Miami. Yeah, he didn't play. Campana scored, and Ian Frey scored. Cucho got the lone goal in Miami. I remember that game. And then the return leg was that whole, I think it was like 2-1 again, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that game was at Scott's Miracle Grow Field.
Right.
It's not lower.com anymore. Yeah, and then he didn't score in Cleveland.
No.
But I don't know if I can't remember if he scored.
I remember the game down in Miami being a bit of a slog. Like it was one of those games that like really was not enjoyable to watch. It was one of those just like really boring. It's halftime and you're like, okay.
5-1 was the final, I believe. It was so bad because Ruvalcaba got the lone goal. Yeah, 5-1.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yeah. And like, halfway through you're just like, I can see where this is going, and it's not worth watching. I mean, you watch to the end in hopes that something changes, but yeah, you could see that coming from a mile away.
Yeah. Allende assisted by Messi in the 13th, Messi in the 15th, Messi in the 24th. Suarez in the 64th. Fafa Pico in the 89th, assisted by Messi. Suarez assisted by Messi. Yeah. This is the game Messi absolutely went crazy. Yeah.
Okay, well, I take that back. Vancouver, don't watch that game. If you're looking for any defensive like games to watch and by other teams, don't watch that one.
Yeah, please don't. Jerald's back. Hello, sir.
Can you hear us?
I can't hear y'all.
Yay, Jerald's back.
I put the voodoo hex on his computer.
My screen's not loading.
Well, we can hear you.
We can see and hear you.
We can see you too. Yeah.
Anyways, I'm back.
Welcome back, buddy. We were just talking about keys to the game, one for each team.
One for each team?
Yeah.
Well, Miami just needs to play smart. And don't let their emotions get the best of them. 2, Vancouver's keys is just keep playing the same style that you guys have played all year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got Sebastian Berhalter that's going up for his second MLS Cup. What else? I mean, you got Brian White, who is a monster, and then you got Thomas Mueller. You know, I'm interested to see the history between Mueller and Messi. I'm interested in seeing that play out.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, with Miami, they got, you know, Silvetti. You know, he came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Ayande's, you know, caught fire. They still have Kremeski, don't they?
Benjamin Kramaski. I don't know. That's a very good question. I think they do, but he has not been playing.
He might have gotten hurt
quite as much. I think so.
I mean, it's gonna be a fun one to watch, and Vancouver just has to not get starstruck, because you sort of could tell New York City was just like in awe going up against, you know, Messi and company.
Mm-hmm. Really quick, your biggest upset for Vancouver, was it Vancouver beating LAFC or Vancouver beating San Diego?
I think Vancouver beating San Diego was their biggest upset, because you could tell it didn't matter, you know, if you had Sonny and Bouanga out there. Nothing was cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with Cherundolo on, you know, a foot and a half out the door already, it was just borrowed time. You know, yes, it did go to PKs, but Sorensen, you know, has them boys, you know, playing a whole different, you know, different gear. And I just think going up against the hot team out west of San Diego, you know, newcomers on the block, you know, the new kids on the block.
That's right.
And, you know what I'm saying, for them to beat them in regulation time, I think it was.
San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To beat them in regulation time, and San Diego was riding a hot hand anyways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to just go ahead and pour the water out, you know, and say, hey, you know, welcome to the league, you know, go sit on the couch in the Bahamas and watch us play. That, to me, was the biggest upset for Vancouver.
By the way, really quick, Benjamin Kramaski plays for Parma in Italy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, so he did get transfer. Okay.
I remember seeing that. It was like, oh man, it was so long ago though. That it's one of those things that you think he might still play, but then again, you kind of like have a second guess because it was so long ago when it happened. So,
I think that opened up the door for DePaul.
I think so. Also, I think that was the move that got DePaul in the door. Really quick, boys, we have to touch on a subject that none of us want to talk about.
Hey, I do want to say something real quick before we touch on that.
Yeah, good.
Chris brought it up, and, you know, and it's not because we're Columbus, but FC Cincinnati was fraudulent.
Yeah.
You know, if you go and take take a look at everything, it was. I mean, it came down to, you know, we beat ourselves in game 3. Hell, we beat ourselves in game 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it would have been a better matchup, Inter Miami versus Columbus. But I think they have a lot to work on down there to get over their hump. We've been to the promised land 3 times and have 3 cups for it. But it just, they needed to build around Evander and not having that cohesion and everything else that bit him in the ass.
Wait, so 2015 is non-existent to you? Please say yes.
What happened in 2015?
Yeah, I don't know what happened in 2015 either.
I was drunk the whole year, so.
No, I do agree. I do think Cincinnati. I mean, they were all hype on Evander and whatnot, and
he's a good player.
Yeah, phenomenal player, but just did not do anything in that series against Columbus. Was absolutely non-existent.
But you have to build around your stars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yes, that ball was 100% out of bounds. Caleb Porter even admitted it. Darlington Nagbe even admitted it, that the ball was out of bounds. Come on now.
I'm not going to touch
anybody with. Right, let's not get fired
up. But today, fellas, we lost a key staple of our recent success. Wilfried Nancy joining Celtic of the Scottish Premier League. I touched on it last week. It's definitely going to hurt 100%. Right. Just what are you like? What are your initial reactions to when you first heard the report to now it's official?
Well, there were writings on the wall in the summer. There were writings on the wall that he was going to be gone at the end of the year. Now, it was up to the team on when that end of the year was going to happen. You could just tell that, with the rough spot that, Columbus was, went down into during that summer and early fall, he sort of checked out. And, it just, some of his answers in media wasn't the same. It just looked like he was, not there, completely. And, congrats on him for going to, Celtic, one of the top teams in the Scottish Premier, storied history. It gets him another step to where he wants to be in coaching over in France or coaching in, the Premier League or wherever, right? Gets him closer to, being able to, be back home, where he's from. And it was coming. Because, if you look at his track record, he's not really at a club more than 2 to 3 years. And he implements his system in the first year. By year 3, teams have already they know how to defeat his system. And to me, it's Nancy didn't want to evolve his system. And that's in my opinion. I could, other people can, look at the party and, have their own opinion how the party's going. But to me, he didn't want to evolve. Yes, he brought Columbus an identity, but he didn't want to evolve that identity and, move it to another level, right? but I wish him the best. When he does decide to hang up his whistle and his whiteboard, you know, I think he will go into the Crew Ring of Honor. Build the statue of Impossible's opinion. But as of right now, as of right now, it's happened, and it's time to look. You know, the past is the past now. It's time to move forward.
And I think it softened the blow a little bit that these rumors have been going on for what, like 2 weeks now. I'm actually surprised that it took this long. I will say that, yeah, it felt like a foregone conclusion at one point. You know, at some point, it was going to happen, especially with I mean, I don't know about other teams, but I mean, it's very rare anymore. It feels like, at least when it comes to like the Crew ecosystem, that if somebody's rumored to be moving to another team, especially this the sheer amount of rumors that you had heard, and that they had been, you know, hot and heavy on him since the summer, that those things don't end up happening. You know, more often than not, that's the case. They end up the deal gets done eventually. If not, then somewhere down the line, especially just if you hear about it, the sheer amount that we had. But yeah, I think we all kind of assumed this was the end thing 2 weeks ago once we started to really hear about it. I will say that when I started to hear about some of the dysfunction between the front office and the fans, I thought maybe there's a chance that he would look at that and be like, I don't know that this is the best, you know, environment for me. But again, if it's a good next step for him to get to whatever his ultimate goal is, you know, that's a good move for him. So understandably, you know, it was time for him. And to Jerald's point, once we hit that kind of cold stretch in the summer, I mean, if you already have a little bit of interest going your way, I think a lot of people would inevitably start to have wandering eye towards that when things aren't necessarily going your way. Maybe you don't have the players in there that you're looking for. We'll probably never hear the full story on all of those types of things. But overall, I mean, you know, like Jerald said, you know, build the statue, circle of honor. Like, I think all of these things, you know, at least modern day Crew fans would agree when it comes to him in particular, and especially making that big of an impact on such a short amount of time. I mean, Caleb Porter was able to do it, and that alone was surprising, just because of, you didn't just have somebody in as short of a tenure as he kind of had versus what maybe you see across the league. In a lot of cases, successful teams typically have coaches for quite a while, but especially given all of the circumstances around the COVID and MLS's back tournament and all of those types of things. Then you had Nanti implemented a whole new system and won it immediately. And I don't think anybody really expected that by any stretch of the imagination, based upon what we understood about what his system was. I think him leaving leaves a good, like, you have a good foundation for a system if you bring in somebody and they want to implement that and probably put their own spin on it, I would imagine. But you also, with the player decisions, retain enough people that, or enough players with varying degrees of skill sets, and probably could thrive in other systems, that if you want to bring in somebody else, that's good too. So it'll be really interesting to see what they do. But obviously, at least in the current moment, certainly a bit of a gut punch for fans that, you know, I don't know, in any sport, you got to assume your coach isn't going to be there forever. That's just not realistic of a thing. I mean,
yeah,
Chris mentioned about Bill Belichick and Wilfred Nancy, and I mean, realistically, like, sure, wouldn't have been great if he just stayed here for as long as like Bill Belichick stayed with the Patriots, but someone to his caliber didn't even stay with the team. Jim Curtin, who some of us might hope that he's our new coach, he didn't stay with Philadelphia forever, you know, and he had been there for quite a while, but that eventually he left there. So I think, you know, in this day and age, when it comes to especially MLS, I've started to really temper my expectations with coaches, players, even front office. If you really like them, like, you have to know going into, you know, whatever your opinion is on them. Bez is a great example. Like, the reality is that they're probably not going to stay around forever. And that would be great if that was the case, but it's just not. That's just not the modern age of where we're at right now with sports in general across the board. So, but yeah, I mean, I wish him the best. I hope that he thrives, goes to the Premier League. That would be incredible to know that like this dude was our coach at one point and he was able to succeed and then get to that. Like, since I've been a fan, other than the only person I can think of that we've had on our team in any kind of capacity that's like made just a massive jump would be. I already lost who I was thinking of. That's how like little it happens. That like we just don't see it that often that you can really here Berhalter. I don't know, some people didn't like Berhalter, but overall I think primarily people really liked Greg, the way he conducted himself during during the whole like potential relocation saga and all of that. Got to be the men's U.S. national team. Like from a Crew fan perspective, there was like an immense amount of like pride in the fact that like he coached our team, did so good that the U.S. national team wanted him to be their coach. Ultimately, of course, like we mentioned, the year that didn't happen, 2015, like, all of those things. But, getting to that point and somebody coming from the Crew, I think we can, as much as it like stings now, I think inevitably if they continue to do really well and wherever they're at next, even someone like Cucho, who's over there at Real Betis and doing great. Like that gives me as a Crew fan like a sense of pride that like this dude was here and
he's got braids now.
And now he's over there doing really well. I saw that like wild move. Just not what you would expect from him. But like those are the types of things that I think like, wow, it's really annoying now in this situation. Like, know that like that is still somebody that is yours in one way or another, and nobody can take that from you. They can't take the championship from you. I'm sure he would speak very highly of Columbus 10 years from now if it was brought up to him. So it all really stings, but at the same time, it's one of those like be happy it happened type of scenarios.
Yeah.
And hopefully the next coach is going to have big shoes to fill. And I think, he set a bar pretty high for whoever the next person's going to be. And, I choose to look at that versus, some of the gripes that we can certainly bring up about, different aspects, especially how this season went in one way or another. But, everybody in the grieving process that we're in, everyone's going to grieve differently when it comes to, those types of things in general. So, I'm excited to see what he does next. And, hopefully he can I wouldn't say turn it around because they're a really good team already, but, continue to elevate them and he can get to the next step, whatever that is.
Hey, I got 6 potentials for replacing.
Yeah, okay. 6 of them. Okay.
I can guarantee 5 of them are fever dreams.
Actually, no.
I was gonna say I could guess a few of them probably. I don't know about fever. I don't know that much about them to know what the current status is, but
that's
Jim
number 1.
Is that a fever dream?
No, that's not a fever dream. That's a realistic option.
I was gonna say I think that's realistic. I don't think I know who that is.
Greg Vanney?
LA Galaxy.
Yeah, thank you.
Their head coach?
The former head coach, yeah.
All right, I'm blanking on it, but okay.
You know him if you see him.
Okay. Who?
Schmetzer.
There's
no way he's leaving Seattle.
Hey.
Why would he leave Seattle, though? He almost did, though.
Then Southgate.
There were talks. Okay. But then Seattle turned it around. And yeah, he's still there. He's still there. You said who?
Southgate.
I don't know who Southgate is.
And former England head coach.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Zidane.
The French guy who headbutted the guy?
Dude, I was a big fan of the French national team when they made it all the way to that World Cup, and that was so devastating that he did that. I could not believe that all that happened. I would love that strictly for just like nostalgia factor, but it may not be the best option per se.
And Zavi.
Fever Dream. That's 5.
Yeah.
No, wait, you said Curtin, Vanny, Schmetzer, Southgate. Yeah. The last 3 are Fever Dreams. 100%.
You didn't say Klopp. I'm shocked.
Last latter 2 are
No,
Fever
I'm
Dreams.
not. Klopp doesn't want to come to MLS.
Klopp doesn't want
that
to coach
doesn't
anymore.
surprise me. I don't think he wants to coach.
Yeah. He has his thing with New York Red Bulls. He's fine. He's
That's like a cushy thing he's doing. Yeah, he's doing commercials for like travel agencies. He's got it made right now.
Hey, some did say Ten Hag might come to MLS.
Dear
I'm
God,
surprised you didn't say
no.
Courtois.
I will fucking stop watching MLS.
Everybody keeps saying Courtois, but I don't know that I agree with that.
Laurent
That's
Courtois?
more of a system thing. Yeah, that's more of a system thing than anything, right? That's why people would say that.
Yeah, I mean, I would give Courtois the benefit of the doubt that he really didn't have much to work with in Montreal because ownership is not
Terrible.
the best. Yeah. But bringing back Courtois, right? Everybody would want him to kind of mimic the success he had with Crew 2 with the first team. And that's not doable, right? Because with Crew 2, you had a lot of competition who were, fighting for spots on a senior team, college kids, etc.
USL players.
Yeah, as opposed to the senior team, the first team, where these guys are, in their prime. They're developing even more tactically than they are, just kind of learning different systems, right? Trying to mimic that success he had with Crew 2 with the first team, it's just like the comparison that I say all the time, that people wanted Rossi to be the same thing Gazella Rayan was.
Yeah.
Right? People are most likely wanting Abu Ali to be what Kucha was. You just can't do that.
They're not the same person.
Yeah.
Just not going to happen.
As much as I like Courtois and I think he's a great guy, I think coming back to Columbus would just kind of hinder his coaching capabilities. Then it would advance him and develop and be the next step in his career.
Until he gets a head coaching job where the ownership, will actually spend the money.
Yeah.
And he's able to show what he could do when the ownership actually cares. Then, then I think that's when you'll see him back. But at first I was on the, bring Courtois back, because maybe it's, he's able to connect with some of the younger, players, right? And maybe get the best out of them. But then that's only a handful of players.
Right.
So, I started leaning away from that, and it's like, how would Courtois, unlock Gazdag? How would he handle, Abu Ali? How would he handle, the egos of, Max and Diego and Ali and, everybody else? How would he be able to handle some of those egos?
Right.
When
very
things are not.
Too.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you had the combination. You had Max, Jason, and Mo on there. On Crew 2. So I mean, you didn't have Max. You had Sean, Jason, and Mo. So I mean, I would like to see somebody with a little more success and a little more proven track record. But whoever it is, the system's definitely going to change.
Oh yeah.
And it's apparent based on inter roster decisions on who they brought back. That system is changing.
Mm-hmm. And I think the people they brought back allows that flexibility for whoever that coach is to be able to implement a system with guys in there that throughout the season we're kind of up and down on and things like that. Like when we went through a few weeks ago, like who we predicted would be staying or going. I mean, there were more surprises of who stayed than what I thought there would be. And
should have been gone.
Next coach, man, lock him. Who knows?
But then again, that could be, the inter roster decisions could have been, done because of not having a head coach.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
But Ali should never, Ali should never been, brought back.
Man, this guy was I'll give him a chance, and now he's back to
No.
All right.
I hope whoever the coach is gives him a chance. How about that? There haven't been any rumors, though, right? I haven't seen any rumors. I'm a little surprised about that, just because it's been dragging on for a while with Nancy.
Yeah, I would assume so. I think probably after the holiday season is when something is going to start up.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're gonna need to do it sooner than later.
Yeah. Really quick predictions. MLS Cup. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go.
I will go. This is gonna be a bit of a cop out, but I'm very intrigued by it, so I'm gonna roll with it. When Chris said the Chat GPT thing, I'm very interested to see how something like that plays out for something like this. I don't have a lot of faith, to be perfectly honest. I want Vancouver to win. I will start off by saying that. However, with Miami and just what they all have, it feels like it's inevitable. I hope that's not the case. I'd love to be proven wrong. But I'm going to roll with me and Chat GPT are going to roll with 3-1.
3-1 Miami. All right.
4-2 Vancouver.
That's absolutely crazy.
Would love that.
I'm gonna go 2. I'm gonna go 2-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 Vancouver.
I think Brian White gets a brace. I think Berhalter scores, and I don't know who gets the fourth one, but I think Brian White puts on a show, and I think Messi gets 2 assists, and I think it's Ande gets the brace.
Best bet, really quick. I'm gonna say, me personally, I'm gonna say Messi anytime goal scorer. That's just me.
That's the easiest one, right?
Yeah.
If you're just talking about best bet. Even 2 goals is probably still like negative odds at this point, or very low plus positive. I will go with Jerald with the Sebastian Berhalter anytime.
Ooh,
I got faith in him.
That could be a plus. I think that's a plus.
Oh, that's got to be a plus.
It's got to be a plus odd.
I don't know how much, but
I don't know. I have to update my apps, but apparently I can't because there's some outstanding balance of some sort. It's giving me the, oh, hey, there's a problem with your billing payment. Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
That shit. Jerald?
I'm going to go a best bet. Both teams score.
Okay.
With player to have 2 or more shots. Not shots on target, but 2 or more shots in general.
Shots in total.
Brian White Messi to have at least 2 shots.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. That could be like a plus $3.49 right there. $10 wins you $34.90. Hey man, you never know.
Win's a win. Any win you can get.
Yeah. Any final thoughts, fellas, before we wrap it up and hop off of here for the night?
No.
Not really.
All right. Well then, easy enough.
Hopefully it's a good game. How about that? I want it to be a good game.
Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, really quick reminder, one more time, that if I can find it. Before I wrap up, if you want to support the show heading into the off season, head to the Wisemen Say merch store and grab something for yourself or another crew fan. Hoodies, long sleeves, mugs, stickers. It all helps keep the pod independent and growing. Click in the pin tweet on our bio or scan the QR code at the top right hand of your screen and cop yourself some merch. I know Derik has a hat that he's rocking right now. Jerald has a wine cup. I have a wine cup. I just don't have it with me. But like I said, it all helps keep the pod independent and growing. And we appreciate your guys' support. Always love y'all. If you are watching on YouTube, thank y'all for tuning in to the live. If you are listening on audio on your favorite podcast streaming platform, thank you guys for listening into the end. You guys can follow us on social media, on Twitter. Still trying to figure out why it's so damn early. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have it on at work. I'm gonna ask the managers if I can have it on at work somehow, some way. If actually, no, I don't know what's happening yet. Anyway, you guys can follow us on social media on Twitter at Wiseman Pod, on Blue Sky at the Wiseman Say podcast.bsky.social. You guys can follow us on Instagram at the Wiseman Say podcast. You guys can follow Jerald on social media
at Jerald_Lucas96.
You guys can follow Derik on social media
at FunkyMoses17.
And you guys can follow me on social media on Twitter at FisherTyler__. If, like I said, if you guys are listening here on your favorite podcast platform, be sure to rate 5 stars, leave us a review, comment on the episode, and we appreciate the support. Jerald, my friend, as tradition goes, Wiseman Say,
only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good week. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. Hug your loved ones. Go Crew.
Go Crew.
Stay wise, y'all.